reason we're all dying, why everything is dying, why everything dies, like things corrode and fade away, erosion, corrosion, like our deaths, our age, it's the corruption of our DNA. Erosion, corrosion, corruption. But we're falling in on ourselves. And every part of us is falling in on ourselves. Like, if you think about it, we're all made up of cells, and that's a round ball, a sphere. Our cells are spheres of existence. Our cells are made up of atoms. Atoms are spheres of existence. Atoms are made up of even smaller particles. Protons. Protons are spheres of existence. Protons are made up of even smaller stuff. But those are little spheres of existence. But every little sphere of existence is like a tiny black hole. It's falling in on itself. And because it falls in on itself, the moment after it falls in on itself. And because that fell in on itself, it's a domino effect. But it's not more than a domino effect. Because it's not linear. Alright. So here's the thing. Everyone says the fourth dimension is time. Like we can wrap our heads around 3 dimensions. The X, Y, Z axis. And then they say time is the 4th dimension. But it's not. Time is not the 4th dimension. Time is the extra we don't live in a 4-dimensional world, but we live in more than a 3-dimensional world. It's slightly more than 3 dimensions. It's actually 3.14 dimensions. 3 plus, or no, it would just be pi. Pi is the sum of our dimensions. Because everything's a circle that's made up of smaller circles. And that's a vortex. A line is a vortex that goes from large to small. From tiny to the point of non-existence, to enormous. Larger than we can fathom. It's a vortex from the biggest size imaginable to the smallest size imaginable. And beyond. From beyond the biggest size imaginable to beyond the smallest size imaginable. And see, I would call a sphere a 2-dimensional world. A 3-dimensional world is a sphere falling in on itself. That's the 3rd dimension. And our physical world is defined by that. The 2-dimensional sphere. And see, the sphere isn't 2-dimensional, it's less than 2-dimensional, but it's more than 1-dimensional. Because wherever you stand on a sphere, if you point, you're pointing at yourself. You're always pointing at yourself. That's what makes it 1-dimensional. But it's slightly more than 1-dimensional. It is pi divided by 3-dimensional. pi is the sum of the three dimensions of the three vortexes. They're not vertexes, they're vortexes. They're not axes, they are vertexes. Because it's not a line. The line goes from small to large. So that's the sum of what I'm saying. We live in a slightly more than three-dimensional world. We live in pi dimensions. And one dimension is a third of pi. Pi is the sum of the three dimensions. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it's the product of the three dimensions or the sum. It's one or the other. I'm not sure which. Cubed root of pi.